Hey, everybody, welcome to Before College TV. You are listening to another college conversation. Today, I am with four dynamic students from different colleges, different places, technical schools. We have a four-year university represented. I mean, we've got a whole variety tonight. Welcome, Anaya, Darius, Sharisa, and Emmanuel. How are you all doing this evening?
I'm pretty good.
You're all psyched. I'm so excited. I am so excited because Darius, man, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you and Emmanuel. I want to get to know you and Sharisa. The story's going to unfold. There's so much story, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And Anaya as well. This is going to be fun. Anaya, you're from Calhoun County High School. That's where you graduated from, right, Anaya?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have good memories of Calhoun County High School?
I guess.
Yes, you do. Now, is high school, here's the thing. The high school years are tough years, right, Emmanuel? It can be hard. Do you agree?
Sometimes.
But they could be good. Sounds like yours were good. Darius, I don't know if your high school years were good. You seem like they were pretty good.
They were pretty good.
Nice. Okay, we'll learn about that. So, Anaya, I want to know a little bit about, like, who are you? If we were to go to Calhoun County High School and just kind of shadow Anaya for a day, see how she interacts, hear what's on her mind, just kind of like see in the most cliche, stereotypical way, like, was Anaya loud all the time? Was she in everybody's business? Was Anaya always raising her hand in class? Was she making trouble, or was she kind of quiet? So give us a summary of high school Anaya.
Well, I was pretty antisocial in high school. I just worried about my grades. I went to a few games, but I didn't really talk to that many people. I had a few friends, but I used to act loud with those friends, but nobody else knew me as like a loud person.
So you kind of were below the radar.
Yes.
Yeah, but you have big thoughts, big dreams, because you have like a great energy about you, right? Don't y'all think, like, Anaya, you have, like, you give off a good sense. You give off a good feeling. Right. I picked that up. It's like you just got a happy presence. So it's interesting. Were you not like that in high school? Did you not emit such wonderful presence?
High school was a little bit depressing, I guess, for me.
Yeah. What was so hard about it? Because, there's a lot of high schoolers who are watching this, and it's nice to know, like, you got through it, but, like, what was so uncomfortable about it?
From 8th grade to 9th grade is like an adjustment.
What was the hardest?
More classes. In 11th and 12th grade, you start getting ready for college, picking which colleges you want to go to, applying, scholarships. It's all just like coming at you. So it's a lot to take in.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Because that's the thing. Because what you dealt with is what so many students deal with, and we want to make it easier for them. So that's good to know. Emmanuel, so let's go back to Lawrence District 55 High School. Right? Describe high school Emmanuel.
Kind of like the same thing as Anaya. Like, I was antisocial. Like, if you would see me in the hallways, I'll have my headphones in and I'll be listening to music. But whenever you saw me at lunch, during lunchtime, I'll be with my friends. We'll be joking around and stuff. But other than that, I was like very antisocial. I ain't talk to nobody unless you talk to me.
Yeah. And then were you an achiever in the classroom? Like, did you do pretty well? Did you get your work
Yeah,
done?
I did. Yeah, I did pretty well. I would make A's and B's.
So in high school, did you have any dreams on, like, what you wanted to do professionally or who you wanted to be?
When I started as a freshman, I wanted to do engineering. So I took this one engineering class. Then sophomore year, I had friends taking welding, and I took welding, and I did pretty good in welding. But then after that, I kind of lost it. Then I was like, no, I want to take engineering instead. So that's what I'm doing right now in college.
So when you say engineering, because a lot of people don't know what engineering is, some people think like train engineer. I don't know if anyone actually thinks that. When I was a kid, I used to think when people wanted to go into engineering, they'd want to drive a train. I know that's absurd. I wasn't the brightest, but, like, can you explain what engineering is?
I'm doing like design engineering, which is pretty much like 3D printing, like 3D and like blueprints.
So Emmanuel, what is your dream job?
Like make blueprints and then build houses.
Yeah. What kind of houses? Describe them.
The ones like you see outside, like
Right.
1 floor, 2 floors.
Just like livable space. You're not looking to build like a grand mansion. You just want to build houses.
Yeah.
What makes your houses so special? Just curious. I'm sure they will be.
That's something later on in the future to plan
Right.
out.
Your secret sauce, you know?
Yeah.
Right. And because there'll always be something, but there's a need for that. So that's exciting. So that's what you're working on now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sharissa, so let's go back to Lawrence District 55. Wow, you and Emmanuel graduates of the same school. Did Emmanuel describe himself accurately? Emmanuel, is it all right if I ask Sharissa if she feels like you described yourself accurately?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I really didn't talk to Teresa like in high school. Cause you know how the quote says how in freshman, for example, you can have like 10 friends. Then when years go by, you go from 10 like to 5, then
Right.
from 3. Yeah, so pretty much I ain't talked to Teresa until we had some classes together.
Mhm.
But other than that, like we didn't talk outside of school.
That's so interesting. And you both go to Piedmont Tech.
Oh, I'm an online student at Piedmont Tech. So I actually haven't, I've been there like twice. That was it.
So you haven't even been there. Is that just because of COVID or because it's just online programs?
Online programs. At first I had one class I had to attend, but I had got a job in another city. So I was like, I'd rather do online so I can be able to work, so yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I want to make sure we cover that of, how do you balance your time? How do you take classes? How do you work? How do you keep getting one step closer to your dream? Doing it at a technical college is amazing because it's a huge value. You get a great education and then you can use that to do anything you want. Right, Sharissa?
Right. And you get to save money and stay out of debt your first 2 years. So that was a plus.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge thing that I think a lot of people don't recognize. And we'll get into that. So Sharissa, give me a little insight into you. What was it like when you were in high school? What were the things that you were doing? Who was Sharissa?
I talked to everybody. I didn't have like a lot of friends, but I talked to everybody. Like no matter how you looked, who you were, I always made sure I spoke, put a smile on somebody's face. I like to goof around a lot, like not making like jokes, just be a goofy person. I did color guard my first 2 years. I was actually trying to be a cheerleader, but it didn't happen. I ended up falling in love with color guard instead.
So you tried out for cheerleading?
I didn't. What happened was the color guard tryouts was before then, and I had a friend who was in the program. She was like, "You need to try this out," and I sucked so bad at tryouts. I didn't even think I was gonna make it. So when I saw my name, I was like, "Ooh, maybe this is my calling to do this." So I ended up doing it for. I did it for 3.5 seasons, but 2 years to be exact.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were active.
Yes, sir. A little bit. My junior year, I was also on the step team as well. So, but I wouldn't count that as like a a workout. Now, color guard was a workout, but step team wasn't really. It was just, you just do it.
I feel like step's intense, but color guard's where you have you hold things, right? You're doing a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And that's good because if anyone ever messes with you, you could really you could whack them, right?
Right.
Right. Like, because it's intense. I'm not even joking. I mean, and those things are heavy, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It took a lot to get used to it.
And you're holding those for hours, swinging them around in formation, and you can't let it dip, right? Because they'll keep that straight, right?
Right. Oh my God. I can't even tell you how many times I got hit with the flag just from other people. And you can't get mad because you're so close together. But I'm like, are you serious?
And people are smacking each other around with their big flags.
Yeah, but see, you shouldn't be. It shouldn't hit me, but it did. So I was like,
dangerous sport. Who knew?
Yeah, we all learned.
Pilot.
So, yeah.
Well, that's good to know. All right. Well, we're gonna learn more. Darius, so patient. Darius, a graduate of Richland Northeast High School. It's good to have you here. How was high school for you? Give us a little window into high school Darius. Describe you to us, please.
In high school, I was really involved. Like I just really want to get out and meet people and have a good time. So from like freshman year, I like got into student government, and from there on, I kind of met different people and then started to get involved in different things. I did Key Club, I did National Honor Society. I'm a theater nerd, so I love the arts. I love the stage. So I was very involved on the stage in theater. Let's see, my senior year, I was student body vice president. I had a really good time in high school.
It looks like it. You really enjoyed it. Right. You really had a good time. And Naya's like, not me. Like, I'm not going back.
But no, I get what she was saying though. Like sometimes, around certain people, you got to be like, but around my friends, like we're having a good time. Like I can be myself. Yeah. But I see what you were saying.
That's wonderful. So we're going to get to learn more about you, Darius. We're going to learn about your experiences at the College of Charleston, because I know you just had your first year there. And we are going to get to know all of you and just kind of understand your path and how you decided to go where you are and learn more. So going back to high school, Sharissa, when did you start thinking about going to college? What was that whole conversation for you, and how did you go through that process? So help me out to understand how you ended up at Piedmont Tech.
So I've always knew I wanted to go to college. I had a couple of colleges in mind. My top college was Howard University in Washington, D.C. I didn't get in though, so that was out of the question.
Wait, so you applied?
Yes, I did apply.
And you got rejected?
Yeah, I got rejected.
I think you're amazing. Does that bother you?
About Howard, at first it did, because I had talked about, I think I jinxed myself. I told all my family and friends, I was like, y'all, this is my dream school. I want to go here. And then I get that email. It was like 5:00 in the morning when I got it. And I looked at my phone. I was so excited. And it said, unfortunately, and I said, you know what?
Right.
I'm not going to read the rest. So is it okay if I tell you the ones I applied to?
Yeah, let's just, because we want anybody, and we're going to talk more about that Howard piece, because I'm like the king of rejection. And I have so much respect for you. And I love that you did that. And you know what I see, Sharissa? And I'm not jinxing you, but yeah. I see if you want to go to Howard at some point, you will go to Howard. You'll transfer to Howard. You'll go to grad school at Howard. You'll teach at Howard. You'll be president at Howard.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I see. It's like, this is just round one. Yeah. Right?
Yes, sir.
So give me a sense of some of the other schools you applied to.
I didn't only apply to 7. I applied to College of Charleston. I got accepted there. I applied to Piedmont. Where else I applied? I applied to Atlanta University, USC Columbia, and then I applied to Clemson. And Clemson and Howard were my two rejections, but I got into the other ones. And at first, I was going to go to USC, but I'll be honest, looking at the financial aid, I was like, they're trying to trick me and set me up to fail. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and go to Piedmont. But it wasn't until I was having a conversation, because I was in ladies club at my school as well. And my counselor, she took us all out to dinner. And because I was kind of leaning towards the two, I knew where I wanted to go in my heart, because I didn't feel like USC was for me anyways, but I want to keep going because I just wanted that experience in my freshman year, And so she had a conversation with us, and she was like, girls, y'all have to listen. I know this isn't your first decision, but you will never receive an opportunity like this. Like, she was talking about how real student debt was and stuff, and that opened my eyes more. And so I made a poster. I still have it. I'm not going to get it out, though, because it's like in junk. So I made a poster, and I compared USC and Piedmont Tech. And then in blue sticky notes, I put the pros, and in green, I put the cons. And when I looked at it, I said, oh my gosh, Piedmont Tech has the most pros. So that's how I ended up making my decision.
It sounds interesting. And I know you're a first gen student, right?
Yes, sir.
So, when I hear about the costs, though, because I know a lot of people are concerned about the costs, and we're going to talk about that, because I think people don't talk about that enough. Mm-hmm. So a first gen student who, it sounds like you got good grades. It sounds like you did well. There's a lot of financial aid available. So like, what were the costs going to be to go to USC?
So for USC, for the school, they did give me like great money. I think I had to pay about $7,000 a year, and that's good for USC. It's still expensive, but it's good for that school. I was actually going to go to the Dollar School of Business. I had emailed, you know how you're a freshman, you have an advisor for you, and I emailed him, and he was like, "Well, to attend the Dollar School of Business, you have to pay, I think it was $1,300 per semester." And I was like, I didn't know about this. So that was one of the costs, but I ended up receiving, for being a first gen student, they gave me like this scholarship called the Games Cost Guarantee, and that was added on. And then I had received another scholarship. I received the Life Scholarship, and then the Pell Grants. I'm not sure. I'm
But
trying to
that's
think.
helpful because
Yeah.
everyone's going to make different choices, and I know Darius, you're at the College of Charleston, so that's going to be helpful to kind of understand just like what the costs are involved, because there's also the part of like making an investment and then recognizing that if I have to finance my education and then I graduate with X amount of dollars of student loans, this is what's going to cost me every month when I graduate and earn X amount of dollars. So like, that's just one way of working through it. I'm like a huge fan of technical schools and community colleges. So Sharissa, do you plan to continue on after you get your associate's degree?
Yes, sir, I do.
And do you know where you want to go then?
I want to say maybe between Lander and USC in Spartanburg, or maybe USC Columbia again, if you try there again. But that's about it.
How about Howard?
I was thinking about Howard, but
Oh, come on.
I would love to go, but
Is it the pain of like, are you afraid of getting hurt again?
no, it's not that. It's just looking at the cost. It's a very expensive school. I was so in my head, I didn't even look at the cost. I was like, oh my goodness, like it was like 68,000 a year. And then I know a lot of kids were having trouble who I contacted like on Instagram and stuff when I was in the process of applying. They would tell me how hard it was to like find rooming and stuff. And I was like, I would hate to get all the way to Washington and I don't have a room and I'm struggling with my financial aid and stuff like that.
We got to find somebody who's in like the TRIO office or in some type of student support service area who can help you to see what are some of the scholarships, what are some of the additional grants that are available. And like, maybe you could sneak in and just get a ton of dough to go. Cause that rhymes, but I've talked to so many students who like, it's that thing of like, there's always money. There's always money. It's just finding the person who found the money and knowing how to get the money. And you've got a couple years to figure it out. So we'll talk more about that. And we can, even after this conversation, if I can help you in any way, because I love the game. I love the game that you can all be and do and go wherever you want. Like money is a temporary thing. And there's ways, there's some amazing scholarship and opportunities. Sometimes when you ask and you're squeaky, sometimes things happen like that, which is exciting. So how much are you paying at Piedmont?
In my city in Lawrence, if you have great grades and you decide to go straight from high school to Piedmont, you actually get your first 2 years free. You just have to pay for your textbooks. But the at Piedmont Tech, they do charge, I think, $3,000 a year to go. That's what I think.
You don't have to pay. It doesn't cost anything for you.
No, sir.
So that's a big difference.
Yes, sir.
Free versus thousands of dollars, and you'll transfer into another school.
Yes, right. Sir. Now when I go to the when I transfer, I have to start like paying and stuff like that. But I just pay for textbooks right now.
You're gonna be great. You're gonna be so good. You're gonna be so good. Yeah, because we've been doing other conversations, and there are some students at USC who you can reach out to, or there's a student at Clemson who, has had a really interesting experience, and we can connect you, with more people. So that'll be exciting. Anaya, give me a little flavor of your journey. So you're at Orangeburg Technical College, and what I'd also like to know is who helped you. I know that Gear Up has been a big part of a lot of your lives, and I want to know, during that process, when you decided to go to college, who helped you and how did that unfold for you?
Well, my mom and my brother really helped me because, she went to OC Tech. So she wanted me to go, and I didn't want to go at first. Like, I really didn't want to go, but it's been the best decision for me.
So why didn't you want to go?
I wanted to live on campus, dorm life, just things like that.
Yeah.
I
And
felt like I was gonna miss out on it.
yeah. So when it came to investigating colleges and thinking about those experiences, you kind of had this dream to go to more of a larger university, more of a traditional college. And did you apply to any of those schools?
I think I applied to USC of Columbia, and then after I got accepted in OC Tech and I changed my mind, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna really apply to nowhere else because I know I'm going here. I done
And
made up my mind.
what made you make up your mind?
It's the best decision. I don't have to pay anything. I get my refund check. I can stay home, save my money. And then if I want to go to a bigger college, after I graduate, I can.
How about the application process, putting together an essay, doing the application fees, all that? Did anybody help you through that?
Oh, yes, my guidance counselors did. And the people from OC Tech, they came to our school and handed out applications and they took them back to the school.
So when you applied to OC Tech, are you automatically admitted?
I think at first they lost my application, but I think it takes a while and then they'll send you like an email or something in the mail that you've been accepted.
Right. And then when it comes to the college search piece, who specifically helped you and how did they help you?
Well, people like my Gear Up lady, she's not mine anymore, but they would bring colleges to the school and then we would sit in the auditorium and different colleges would talk. And, just hearing some of my family members went there, hearing them talk about it.
It made it comfortable for you. And you're majoring in nursing, is that right?
Yes.
So how did you choose to major in nursing?
I've always loved nursing since I was like a child. And I used to watch this show called like Chicago Med.
Yeah.
And I used to love that show. So it was like just second nature.
So how's the nursing program at you call it OC Tech, is that right?
Yes, I call it OC Tech.
How's the nursing program there?
It's tough. I haven't even gotten there yet. I'm trying to get past all my biologies.
Those are weed out classes, right?
Yes.
We're going to talk about how you get through it and how you get help. Because I imagine, have you gotten any help?
Yes. The Gear Up people, they have like a little iTutor thing. And then at OC Tech, you can go to the student services and then you can talk to your teachers. So, it's a lot of help. And they do Zoom tutoring and stuff.
Do you do that? Do you take advantage of it?
Yes. I go to the tutoring.
The Zoom tutoring?
They have it on Zoom and it on campus.
A lot of people don't like to get help, and I know you're kind of shy. So I'm curious, like, how did you find the courage to get help and take advantage of tutoring?
Well, it was just like, I don't want to fail the class and have to pay for it. So I'm just gonna go.
So it doesn't matter how shy you are. when
yeah, and a lot of people don't go. I was like the only one in there.
Yeah, that surprises me because like that stuff is amazing, but a lot of students are really afraid to do that. I mean, you're amazing that you do that. And the people who do it are pretty smart, right?
Yes.
And are they kind and patient with you?
Yes, they're nice. The lady, she's really nice.
And you would encourage other people to do that?
Well, my teacher, she always says it, but nobody comes.
Right. But you get that extra help. I'll tell you a positive story. I had a student, I was doing a program, and this nursing student told me, she said, organic was hard. She said, it took me 4 times. Now I'm not going to say it's going to take you 4 times. All right. Cause you got help. You're on top of it. But she said she talked to her doctor, her personal doctor, and the doctor said, how you doing in organic? And she said, she was embarrassed. She said, it took me 4 times to pass. I finally got through it. And the doctor said, well, that's good. Cause it took me 5. Took me 5 times. So just you don't stop fighting because you're going to get it. That's good stuff. Darius. So I'm curious how you decided to go to the College of Charleston, because you've taken a different path. You know what, Darius? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Emmanuel, because I think it'll be nice to have everybody here who chose a different path, and then you'll have insight into that path as well, which I think will really help other people to see the different choices. Because agree with me or disagree with me, everybody, your path is your path, and it doesn't matter which path you choose, correct?
Right.
Like there's value, whether you go to College of Charleston, you go to OCC, you go to Piedmont Tech, you're all going to be in amazing places. I mean, that's the fact. Like there's actual data and research. It says it doesn't matter where you go. It's what you do when you're there. It's what you do when you're there. So Emmanuel, help us to understand how you decided to go to Piedmont Tech, how you decided to go to college.
At first, I didn't want to go to college. My first 3 years in high school, I did JRTC, which I had a mindset where after I graduate, I'm going to join the Navy. But then my senior year, started to find more about colleges and get more interested about it. So I started I applied for USC Upstate, Erskine College, Coastal.
Yeah.
So I got accepted to all of them, but then in my mindset, I remember how Gear Up, like Charissa said, if you're from Lawrence, and you go straight to Piedmont Tech, you get your first 2 years free. And so I come from not a very financial family, so I had to think about it. I don't think my parents can afford this, but they would do anything to make me anything to help me with my situation. So at first I was I think I'll go to Piedmont Tech, get 2 years free. If I like what I'm doing, I'm going to do 2 more at Erskine or Upstate. And like Teresa said, it's $3,000 each year compared to other big colleges. You pay triple, 40 to 60 a grand a year.
It's interesting. You got into those other schools. What kind of financial aid package? Because I know when you come from a family where your expected family contribution can be zero even, or very low, they give you a tremendous amount of aid. There's different packages. So that price of for a private school of 40 to 60,000, becomes almost, nothing. Some schools will actually, and I just want to make sure that I let everybody know this, some schools will actually give you full tuition and room and board. Our low income families with high EFCs, we want to give you a full scholarship. There's some schools that do that. So I just want to throw that out there too. But Emmanuel, what were those financial aid packages? Did you get a chance to look at them to help other people to understand?
I had FAFSA. Then I also had the life scholarship, which got my intuition paid for and everything.
You would have gotten a lot of money. Was it almost totally paid for at these universities?
For Erskine, I applied for some scholarships, and I was going to pay I think it was 6,000 or 7,000 each year, which I thought was good.
Yeah. So those were the options. And then when it came down to it, it's very similar to Charissa. I don't necessarily need to go and do that. I'm going to do this other path. Was there another factor in you deciding to stay closer to home?
Well, I was hoping I'll get scouted. But with COVID, because I played soccer all my high school years, and when COVID hit, my season didn't go as planned as I thought it was. Because we only played I would say 5 games. That's when we went to lockdown, how everything was online and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you were planning on having your soccer be something to help you to pay for college, or did you play? Are you playing soccer at Piedmont?
No, Piedmont is just a technical college. There's no sports, nothing involved.
Yeah. A part of me, whenever I do this, I'm really honest. And, I don't want to offend anybody, but part of me is kind of sad, man. You love soccer, you're a really, you're a smart dude who's got passions, you still have a lot of time to make a lot of decisions, but you want to play soccer somewhere? Do you think that would make you happy?
I'll practice now and then, I go play with some people, but it's not the way how I wanted my senior year, really.
Right. But I'm also thinking you could transfer to a school that has club soccer or some type of intramural soccer or something where you can be around amazing people playing soccer and still be able to get your engineering degree and be able to do your designing, because you have really specific dreams,
Yeah, that was the hard part. The hard part was finding what you like and your degree in that same college.
Because you're figuring that out. Are you going to continue on to a 4-year school?
I don't know. I really don't know. But if I do, I know I want to go to Upstate, UC Upstate in Spartanburg or Erskine College.
Yeah. Why don't you know? I mean, I'm kind of annoying, but like,
You know how like there's some college classes that makes you want to say, I'm going to drop out, like
uh,
forget, I'm going to drop out.
Anaya agrees. Darius agrees. Sharice
Like,
agrees. Right.
you have the help. Sometimes I don't take advantage of it because of work or because of other things.
I'd love for you. I don't know. I mean, it's not really my place, but man, I'm rooting for you. Like I want you to figure out how to get that help to continue on because you can do all these things and manage it and graduate with a great degree and play soccer, be around all these people who really make you excited and
Yeah,
and get what you want because you deserve it, man. Like you know
thank
that
you.
like, you're worthy of
Yeah,
it. Like you deserve it. Like I want you, and I think that part of like pushing you, and it's like again, like who am I to push you? But I see this all the time, and it's like the thing is you have to want it. Like maybe secretly you do, and this is kind of like a weird way to be like, yeah, I want it, I'm gonna get it, but like you could get it, like you. So that's part of like because I could sense. Teresa, am I reading this right? Am I making this up about Emmanuel, or do you feel the same things?
Oh yeah, definitely. He definitely could get there. I'm rooting for you too, man.
Yeah, because I mean it's there, and it's great that you have this path this next year and the next 2 years. But like the soccer thing's great because you'll make great friends, and you have a
yeah,
passion and the interest, and the fact that you come from a family where you don't have a lot of money, like there's so many
yeah,
people who want to give you money. Like there's
yeah.
so many people.
I want to say your pride aside, and think about like how like who else going to help me pay for this.
That's a
Especially that I come from an immigrant family, and this is like I'm being the first one out of the family, like everybody like to go like to finish high school and then go to college.
it's hard because you don't have anybody who's been there to tell you how to get there. You know,
Yeah,
that's if you want to go to upstate, then it's reaching out to the people who are in the trio programs or asking the gear up contacts like what's an organization that's similar at the school you want to go to, and you start talking to them ahead of time now, like you start reaching out to them now. And then if there's soccer there, you start finding out, how do people walk on soccer there? What opportunities are there? And you just start asking questions now. And then what happens is by the time it comes to applying, all of a sudden you have relationships with these people and they know you.
yeah,
And we'll talk about work-life balance because it's really easy for me to butt into your life and be like, you can do it and you have time. But like, I think the time part, it's really hard to work and make money and to manage all that. But I just get excited. So Darius, you've been so patient. I think I said that before. We're gonna get really into you. What do you think of hearing everybody else's path?
So, Sharissa, when you said what you said, I thought of my path. So I had a dream school that I got rejected from, and I was like so steadfast on like, oh yeah, I'm going here. I'm not going anywhere else. It was NYU. I was so excited. But then I got rejected, and the thing was, it's like I wasn't even thinking about the cost. I wasn't even thinking about the 65K. Like, and my mom kept telling me, she was in my ear, Darius, you gotta think about in-state. You gotta think about tuition, all this. And I was like, I'm going to NYU. But I didn't get into that. So I also applied to like Coastal, Winthrop, USC, and then College of Charleston. I knew I didn't want to be like in Columbia, so that's why I knew I didn't want to go to USC. I still applied anyway, but I wanted some distance from my house. That's why I knew I really wanted to come on campus because like since junior year, I feel like I was counting down to college. I don't know. Came to College of Charleston, and thankfully, like our Gear Up program had like so many opportunities for us to go visit colleges. So I had already like been on campus, like to Coastal, to College of Charleston, the scope, the scene of College of Charleston. That's how I kind of chose it. And on top of that, I had went to a theater conference, and the College of Charleston had like offered me just a $1,000 scholarship. I was like, okay, yep. So that's kind of really what drew me to College of Charleston.
That's a great story. And the rejection's really painful. Like it's really hard to have a dream school and to not get in. And I mean, it can really shatter you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And NYU is a fantasy of like, I'm not trying to stir emotions, but like, being in New York City, NYU, I mean, NYU is so hard to get into. Like, I mean, it's like winning the lottery. And
Right.
it is not a reflection on you or your abilities. As I was talking to some admissions person the other day, and they're like, they needed someone from Nebraska and they weren't looking for someone from South Carolina. It's just like, it's the time of day. It's just, but you get that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I get it
Yeah.
now. I get it now. Not in
Yeah.
the moment. I didn't understand it in the moment. I was
Yeah. In the
upset.
moment you think it's you, like, why don't they want me? And you're a guy who's had a lot of success, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you were SGA vice president, you were a leader in your school. You probably did pretty well in the classroom, right?
Yeah. Now I did. Um, but I feel like at times procrastination gets the best of me. And my grades were not the best in high school, but my GPA was there, which is how I was able to obtain like certain scholarships.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let's share that because, you chose a different path. And again, each path is just a path. They all lead to the same place. The thing is, you have to do stuff on campus. Like you gotta engage. And this is where Emmanuel, like, really engaging, getting that extra help. The minute you get that extra help, you're going to meet someone who's passionate about helping. The minute you express bigger interest in other things, those people who have been there and done it, who have connection, are going to invest in you. And I think that's really key. So, Darius, when you went through the application process, how hard was that for you? Filling out the FAFSA, dealing with the different application costs. I don't know if you were able to get waivers or you're able to get help,
Mhm.
but can you explain that part for students who aren't that familiar with just the challenges of going through the application process?
So thankfully, my Gear Up teacher did help a lot with that process. Like any of the waivers, I know the waiver for College of Charleston was like $200, $250 or something like that. Or maybe I'm thinking about the housing fee.
Well, just explain so people understand what it is, because I think most people don't even know what we're talking about.
I know. So for some of the applications, they're like $50 like fees, and like the waivers are offered. Like I know, I guess they're available to certain people. I know because like the Trio program, if you're in the Gear Up program, um, yeah, thankfully I was a part of that program, and I was able to get a waiver and have that fee, just gone away because that was just annoying.
Right. If you apply to 8 schools and
Yeah,
you're
that
talking
accumulates.
50, $100 for each application, well,
Mhm.
that's a lot of money, and you guys can get those waived where it's free, which, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that because I know cost
Yeah.
is a big deal and that stuff, it deters people. So anyway, so when it comes to like the application process and your personal statement, and include the name of your Gear Up advisor, like, let's give some props to these people who have been so helpful and wonderful.
Courtney Moody. Courtney Moody, that is my girl. I really, she was really helpful throughout her and our, so we had a Gear Up teacher and then we had a college advisor. Miss James was definitely helpful with offering scholarships. Like she was on it, dog on it. Like every email from her, I think she was sending out an email every day for scholarships. So I'm just like, oh, let me hop on this. Let me do this. Let me do this. I got to get on my game. She
Did
was
you
very
apply to some of
encouraging.
them?
I did apply to some, not as much as I should have, which is kind of my thing that I'm like, I get on myself about, which is why I'm kind of I got to get on my grind this summer. Like I'm telling myself, I got to apply for more still, but I didn't apply to as much as I should have. Um, but yeah, they were there. They were there. And that's the thing. It's just like having to look for them. The money's out there. The application process. Now, I am applied to that many schools, so I feel like I don't know. I didn't take the application process as seriously as I could have. I don't know. Essays are kind of thing that I don't know. My work ethic can kind of just get a little just slow down there when it comes to the essays. But those are really the most strenuous part, and then just filling out all the applications and everything, like all your information and all that.
How do you get the essays done? I mean, that's a weird thing to have to write a personal statement when.
I remember I was like doing essays for scholarships during like COVID and everything. That was I think maybe that was a helpful time because I didn't have anything to do, so do the essays might as well. Yeah.
Explain to us just how you're able to pay to go to the College of Charleston, and was that a factor for you? Money?
Yes. So I believe it's like 12K a year at College of Charleston. And so I know I got the life scholarship. I got some Pell grants. I know there's some subsidized loans, some unsubsidized loans. I did receive one scholarship that I had applied for. It was the Jim Clyburn scholarship. That was $1,000. And then with that was a free Dell computer. I was like, oh yeah, I need that.
That's the sweetest thing, the free computer.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, my mom was just about to fork up some money to get me an Apple computer, and then that just came about. That was God. That was God right there. So there was those scholarships, and then I know my mom, she takes out one loan for like the rest of the because I know my tuition was paid for. It's just my room and board that we have to worry about. Cost of it right now is like $5,000 semester. And then next year I'll be an RA, and that they do a discount on housing. So it'll go from like 5,000 to 2,000. So
that's awesome. So you're going to be an RA.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. So anybody who's going to College of Charleston is going to get to know you.
Yes.
As their RA. I bet you're a good RA.
I am. Now I'm not finna let any and everybody walk over me now. I'm gonna be a cool RA.
It'll be tough because for people who don't know what an RA is, it's a resident assistant, right? And it's a job on campus that's going to save you thousands of dollars, right, Darius?
Yeah.
So for anybody who wants to be an RA, explain to us how you were able to apply and get this awesome position, because it's like a dream job.
The school kind of just sends out emails and reminders of like, with different organizations as well. But that's why you need to stay attentive to your email. Because at first, I don't believe I was going to apply, but then I saw something in my email. And my roommate, he's also an RA, and so I live with RA, and he encouraged me to do it as well. But I went in and applied, and there was an interview process, and we had to wait a couple weeks, and found out I got it. I applied to 2 different housing, and I didn't get those 2. And I'm guessing because that was my first year. So I guess they give like priority to, seniors or like juniors and everything.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, am I going to do it? I don't know if I want to, but hey, discount on housing. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a huge thing because I've talked to lots of students, and being an RA, it really does change the game because you can live on campus. Now, I know, for students who are commuting, because Anaya and Teresa and Emmanuel, right? You live at home, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're having that experience, and you can have the residential experience in the future if you have any questions about the residential experience, because I know that that's a plan for at least a couple of you. We've got Darius here, so who's going to be an RA, who's one of the friendliest people on the planet. So if you have any questions on that, right, Darius? Is it accurate?
You're good.
Right.
Good.
Any of you can ask questions about this, or you can even go to the College of Charleston, which would be great. And anybody who's watching this who's going to College of Charleston, reach out to Darius. Hey, Anaya, Sharisa, Emmanuel, Darius, if anybody watching this has a question for any of you about your life, your experiences, are you cool with them reaching out to you?
Yeah.
And you'll respond. Yeah. You'll be nice. You won't reject them.
No.
Right. That's right. You got 4 more people, and then me, 5 people in your corner for anybody who's watching this. So I want to get into some of the balancing life part of your world, because I know it's not easy to do what you do. And I know, Emmanuel, you talked about, work and being able to get your work done. I think that being at home and having responsibilities, you mentioned like you have a brother outside as well. Like you got a busy house, right, Emmanuel?
Yeah. At first, I was working at a plant job. Well, when I was in Piedmont Tech, I was more worried about getting more hours in. and this and that until my lead felt like, man, you don't need this job. You're in school. Your career gonna take you the long way. My example, I was going from 3 in the afternoon until 11. That was the worst part. I guess the worst part was losing sleep, really. Really choosing a side, like it's school or work.
So you're doing that, and then somebody you were working with, how old was that person who said, Emmanuel, like you got to work less, you got to go to school because that's going to be
30 something, but he regrets it because he dropped out because of the plant job, I guess too. I guess he was more worried. He was more into the money that he was making instead of school. But he always pushed me like, no, finish school.
That's amazing that you had somebody who was in a place where they weren't jealous. It wasn't like,
yeah, he always wanted the best for me. Like he saw how I'll do my work and then still do my schoolwork too.
It's like you're unstoppable, man. Your dreams, they belong to you.
I always say, if you really want something, you're gonna work for it.
So do you have enough money? I mean, working part-time, because I know you talked about you go to Piedmont because you don't have to pay all that money. So not paying that money gives you the room, hopefully, to work part-time.
I got to pay for it, like I don't got nothing, like I got nothing to pay or nothing. Like I haven't paid not even 1 cent at Piedmont Tech yet.
So everything you're making, you're able to save. And
yeah.
If you make a little bit less, but you can get the grades to get to that next place, then that's the investment, right? You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where getting that extra help you were talking about, like with the academics. Are you working now still?
Yes, I'm working now.
Just working a little less.
Yeah, I'm working a little less. I went back to my old job.
What's your old job?
McDonald's.
I make fries.
Yeah.
You like McDonald's?
Oh yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Dude, have you ever thought of McDonald's? They have their scholarships.
Yeah, they do. But I didn't apply for it because I quit. Then I went to the plant job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could apply again now. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. That'd be fun.
And really, I like it because I can really go in whenever I want and leave whenever I want and work any day that I want to. So pretty much it fits my school schedule too. Yeah, because if I was still working at the plant job, I don't think they would work with my school schedule.
So you'd recommend working a part-time job, like
if you can handle it, then go for it. But I couldn't because I would lose a lot of sleep.
Yeah. You made a choice. And that's interesting. Just so I can get this really clear. So you're working at McDonald's while taking your classes. And do you enjoy working at McDonald's? Has that been a good fit for you?
Yeah, definitely. They understand too. Like I'll be like, hey, I got school. They'd be like, okay, don't worry about it, just come after school or whenever you're done with homework.
So if there was someone at McDonald's who was watching this and is like, you know what? I love this guy. I want him to live his dream. I want him to be able to go to that school or to go to that place. Just be very clear of what that dream is, because I want you to live it and it's fun to share it. So what's that dream?
Hopefully it's to have my own business one day.
And then to study where do you want to study and where do you want to major? Because I want to get that out here.
Like two colleges that I want to go to would be Upstate or Erskine, one of them two.
The full name of that school is?
UC Upstate Spartanburg.
All right. We're going to put out in the universe. Someone from McDonald's, they're going to see this. And they're going to be like, yeah, Emmanuel, this guy, he's working his tail off. Like, it's crazy things happen. Or you know what? Nothing will happen. It'll be great. It's like, why not? It's like, it's fun to play the game. I love it. So Sharissa, your time, you are on online classes. So you're not physically on campus. So you're not really connecting and meeting a lot of people. So explain to me how you manage your time and has that been difficult or easy for you?
Okay, so last semester was really hard because I was just like Emmanuel. I had started a new job. I work at Publix. It's a grocery store. I had started there and I was getting really great hours, but I didn't have a set schedule. And I was in biology. And if you're taking biology in college, it's difficult. So I had 4 classes and that was my toughest one. What I would try to do is I get put on a schedule to work 8 to 6 and I'll try to come home. It takes me 30 minutes to get home. I'll get home, try to do homework at 7 to 8 o'clock at night, start and do all the classwork. I'll meet the deadlines, but I'll be so tired trying to stay up all night, getting it done. And then I struggle with
Yeah.
biology because biology feels like another job you got to study for to pass the test. What I did this semester has been so much less stress. Like, I'm not even freaking out anymore. So I changed my schedule. I automatically had like 3 days off, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. Then I had a half day, like I couldn't, like on Thursday, I can't get off past 2 o'clock. And then I could work like any other hours the rest of those days. And it's been good so far. I mean, I still struggle with procrastination, but I get the stuff done, and it's definitely less stress. So yeah.
That's great advice. So you went from how many hours to how many hours that became manageable?
So I asked them for 30 hours. I would actually end up getting more than that, which made me happy. They never forced me to work. They're a good company to work for. They always say, if you get stressed out, tell them, let them know. And so that's when I ended up changing it. Now this semester, my hours have decreased. I want to say to like 25 to 20, but that's about it sometimes. But we have this problem right now where we get like even lower hours. But so that's just allowing me to have more time to do more schoolwork. So I kind of take advantage that way.
So that sweet spot of like the 20 to 25 hours to
Mm-hmm.
help you to then take the time to deal with these classes. Because I think that's really important for anybody who's going to technical college to
Mm-hmm.
see like your job also needs to be to do well, right? To get
Right.
through this. Because the graduation rates, I don't know if you're aware, they're not that wonderful at
Right.
technical schools, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you want to graduate, how many years do you want to take to get your AA?
I'm actually gonna get it this fall. I took a lot of courses in high school dual enrollment, and to stay on a life scholarship, you have to have 30. So that has helped out a lot too. So I'm really excited about that.
So do you think next fall you might then go to like USC or somewhere else?
Yes, sir.
Oh, have you applied?
No, sir, not yet. No, no, not this fall. Like this fall will be my last semester at Piedmont Tech, and I'll start applying, like during my time there, the transfer to spring of 2022. Yeah, spring of 22.
Yeah. Okay, that's so exciting. Oh, that's great. And then when it comes to community, because I know Darius, I want to talk about what it's like to be at the College Charleston and to be in your places because you got really great places. And I think this is also one of the challenges when you go to a technical college is you don't always have that community. It's kind of the irony of like a community college is you're not always around people. Sharissa, have you made friends? Like, do you feel connected to school? Like, have you been able to take advantage of that part of your college experience?
I want to say yes. Last semester I didn't really, because I was so nervous to get out there and email people. I was like, I'm not gonna email this person because I don't want to sound dumb or just anything. So this semester I changed that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start talking to more people. In each of my classes, I like emailed someone because I had bought a planner that helped me out with being organized too. And so I would email students and I'd be like, hey girl, my name's Sharissa. I'm struggling with this question. Can you help me out with this? And they'll help me with it. I think I've met 3 girls. I want to say 4. I don't really talk to the 4th one that much, but if I email her, I know that she'll give me back with a sincere answer. But the other 3, we emailed like consistently. And then I got really close with, I think she's a guidance counselor at school. Emmanuel, you might know her name is Miss Hendricks, but she has helped me out a lot as well. She's really good with emailing. I got really close to her. But I've been able to meet great people and even talk to my professors with emailing them, like let them know. Like, for instance, I had my wisdom teeth surgery like 2 weeks ago. I let them know that, and they'll be like, okay, we'll just you can either turn in early or we'll push the deadline back for you. So I've gotten to meet great people while being an online student, I want to say.
That's an awesome tip. So physically not being on campus, the way that you made up for it was you actually reach out to people, but that was scary because you felt like people might judge you at first, right?
Yeah.
And has anybody judged you or responded in a negative way?
Definitely not. I was nervous for no reason because they would always send back like a paragraph. I was like, oh, she said more than I asked for. And actually, a lot of us related. Like, I know one girl, we had a big project paper for macroeconomics. And I was like, I'm so nervous about this paper. So I emailed her and she was just like me. She was like, I completely understand. I like turning stuff in early. I be struggling, trying to figure out things too. So we was like kind of connecting that way. So I like that because I wasn't the only one out there who was kind of clueless.
That's beautiful. Naya,
Yes.
do you reach out? Do you reach out to other students and do that, or not yet?
No, I don't reach out to anyone.
Right? Does Sharice's story inspire you a little bit?
A little bit, but I don't know. That's something I struggle with, friends and stuff.
Yeah. So you are also someone, you go to OC Tech, right?
Yes.
What OC Tech, right? That's what you call it.
Yes, OC
I,
Tech.
I try to have the language. I feel like we know each other well enough. I could say it. So being at OC Tech, are you physically on campus or are
Oh,
you,
yes. For some classes, I'm on campus.
and are you part of the trio program there?
Well, I was supposed to join, but just a lot of stuff happened and I didn't.
You didn't make it to the program.
No.
So explain to people what trio is, because I know you were going to be in trio, but it didn't work out. But I think it's really important for people to understand what that is.
Okay, Trio is like a program where you do a lot. Like if you're struggling with the class, they help you. They provide tutoring. You can go and talk to them about anything, scholarships. So, it's like they're kind of like a little guidance counselor. That's what I like to think of it as. You're struggling in this area, go to them, they'll help you. And it's a great thing to be a part of. There's a lot of benefits.
Totally. But you have to apply, right? Like you have to apply.
Yes, they send you, you have to have the right grades to get accepted, and they send you like a little flyer thing, and you have to pay your thing and then you send it back.
So they send that to you while you're still in high school, right?
I got mine while I was in college.
So you got it. Okay. So you got it. That's good to know, because I think that for anyone, it's so cool to have those programs. They're like Gear Up, and you can get free books. Sometimes you get the help. That's amazing. So when it comes to you finding connection and community at OC Tech, Anaya, have you found any community? Do you do anything other than go to class and then go home? Like, how do you manage that?
Well, not really. Like once I'm out of class, I'm going home like to study or something. So,
Yeah. Have you made friends on campus?
no, I haven't made any.
Have you tried?
No, I haven't tried. I
That's
talked to a
why.
few people in class, but it doesn't go any further than that.
Yeah. Do you have any interest to participate in any activities?
Um, Not really. Maybe next semester, because this semester is it's just a lot going on.
Right. But you got academic help. You mentioned that when you were struggling in the classroom, you went and got help, right?
Yes, I did.
And you did that on campus?
Yes.
Yeah. And where did you get that help?
Well, the teacher, I guess she saw some people in the class struggling. So she was like, they're going to provide tutoring. It's in this classroom and it's from this time to this time. And I was available that time. So I would go. And I had a class that day. So I would go before my class, then go to my class after tutoring.
So do the tutoring. That's a great way. I think that's one of the hardest things is, you're not living on campus, or you're not even going on campus like Sharisa, who's doing it virtually, which is challenging. Emmanuel, have you made any friends on campus? Do you talk to people? Are you physically on campus?
I'm physically at campus. The last semester and this semester, I've been in campus.
Is it hard to find community and connection commuting?
But some teacher goes that extra mile. Like my engineering teacher, like my advisor, she goes that extra mile, as in she takes her own personal time too to help.
So that's been helpful. So you'll stay out.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
So I think that's a great thing. So I'm always thinking like, it's hard when you're going to a school where you're commuting or going to technical school. Like, how do you find that connection? And I think Sharisa, when you're talking about like you actively reach out to people, the teachers when you're physically on campus, like talking to them because they're really nice and they want to help you. You'd say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think it's better to take classes like classes at the school.
Why is that?
The past engineering classes that I have, I'm glad I had it like person to person, because I would have struggled. Because some engineering classes, it's hard, especially as me as a beginner, like starting to read engineering. You're like, what the word is this? Like, how do I read this? And the teacher, like, she explains it to you.
But so they're right
Sometimes,
there.
like, I overthink about it. But really it's simple, it's easy.
Sharissa, would you encourage someone to do online, or do you have a part of you that wants to be physically on campus?
I would encourage online only if you can push yourself to do it, but I definitely wanted to take person to person because I did want to get involved with my school more. But just because I wanted to have the opportunity of working, I just wanted to, it worked better with me personally to do online classes. So that's why I preferred it. But I would have liked to take person. It sounds confusing. I wanted to take person to person, but I knew that it would be more better for me. I had a word, but I forgot it. So yeah.
I didn't want to put words in your mouth. So
No, it's
I didn't mean
okay.
I didn't mean to let you hang. I just wanted to.
For like 30 seconds.
I know. We could always cut that out, or not. It's more dramatic, Why not? We're just hanging out. I mean, that happens in a real conversation. So, Darius, I've been to the College of Charleston. I'm a big fan. I think Charleston's beautiful, except when those cruise ships come in. Right?
Yeah.
You want to get far away when the cruise ship goes right down. It's like annoying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because people love Charleston. It's a beautiful community. So you said it's you and your mom at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you left home from Columbia, and your mom's in Columbia, and you are in Charleston. How far away is Charleston from Columbia?
It's like an hour 45.
So was that a hard thing for you to do, to leave home and not be with your mom?
Yes and no. Me and my mom, we're like best friends, but then like when we're bumping heads, we're bumping heads. So like that part of me was like, oh, I'm so ready to get out of the house. But like we're so close and it's just me and her. So of course I miss her, but like I talk to her every day on FaceTime. So
right. Because a lot of people worry about leaving their mom at home.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna cry, but I didn't shed a tear. I didn't shed a tear. Mm-mm.
Did you get homesick at all?
No. Well, at times. At times. I did first semester, let me say that. But then I kind of just got accompanied and just acquainted with being on campus and having my own room and everything. I like it.
Yeah, so you were ready for it. So when you arrived on campus, did you already identify the places where you were going to find some friends? When I'm talking to seniors, I always encourage them to find your 3 places, places where you can sweat, where you can play, where you can pray, where you can live, where you can lead, and you can learn. So it's where you're going to sweat, play, pray, live, learn, lead, love, and work. Those are the places. Explain what that's like to be at a school where, not everybody looks like you, and how you find a sense of community and also a sense of comfort. Like, what's that transition like?
At first it was definitely a cultural shock because my high school was predominantly Black. So coming on campus was like, oh, okay. It was kind of hard, but it was an adjustment. It was definitely a transition. Just being able to like have the group that I had, and thankfully I came to the college with my best friend. It's crazy. She lives on campus too, so I had her. And we got through it together. And we're nice to everyone. I love meeting new people, no matter the skin color, no matter the gender, all of that. Just don't be afraid to reach out to like enjoying the different clubs, because there are like Black people. There are a good bit of Black people on campus that you can reach out to. And I know there's a Hispanic club. So there are people of color on campus. I just feel like you just have to kind of just reach out and just join, and don't be scared to put yourself out there, because that's what we had to do. Because originally I didn't have my mind set on like the Black Student Union. I didn't really know about it, but one of my friends told me about it, and like we don't meet a lot or anything because COVID and restrictions and all that. But once I was connected with that organization, it was comforting to know like how many Black people are on campus. It was kind of surprising.
so the Black Student Union, how do you find it? How do you get in? Are you automatically a member? Can anyone have access? Do you have to identify as Black to be part of the Black Student Union? Because I know the answer, but I think it's really important for other people to know.
At the College of Charleston, there is a website called Cougar Connect where you can actually just scroll through, and it has a list of all the different organizations that you could join. And actually, I think I found out through one of my friends. She sent me a flyer, and BSU was holding a cookout for any and everyone, because the organization is open to everyone. And that was the first event they had, because we haven't had many events, but that was the first one, and it was a good kickoff. So
you go there and you don't know anyone, and it's like people are cooking, and are people like, hey, who are you? Or hey, who are you? Do you want, a burger? Or it's like everyone just kind of keeping to themselves?
The exec board was kind of like the ones reaching out. Everyone else that was kind of in attendance kind of was kind of staggered. But listen, I'm always down to get a good plate, a good home cooked meal, because there was some macaroni, chicken, all that. I know there's an application process, but at the time, I think it was too early for me to like actually fill out an application. So I actually just contacted the exec board, and I was just a freshman representative. So there's freshman representatives, sophomore representatives, and they can also be on the exec board, president, a social chair, be in charge of different events.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's like such helpful information, because I think Sharissa, I was watching you listen, and it seemed like you were really interested in hearing, right? Am I right? Or, because like I almost got the sense of you like visualizing and strategizing of like, because I know you like to get involved. And I think that advice of reach out to the executive board, they're the nicest people, they're the kindest people. And Emmanuel, if engineering at upstate, the engineering club, looking and just messing around on the website, seeing what professional organizations, seeing if someone's from another place, seeing what else they're involved with. And Naya, when it comes to the nursing and seeing, who graduated from the school, who's working in this place, who's that? Is there a nursing association? Is there some type of nursing club or activity? It's like such an awesome way to meet like the nicest people, right? Because like Darius, I said this in the beginning, you just have such a nice way about you too, where I feel at ease talking to you, and you're an RA, you're also a representative for the Black Student Union, and then the Thespian Honor Society. I know you do acting. Acting is a real big part of you, and it would be a crime if I didn't talk about your love of acting. And if you get to act, are you acting this year? Do you get a chance to act? Is it super competitive? Do you get to let that part of you out?
Sadly, no. So this year, the play productions were virtual, and I was kind of just like, I didn't really want to do a virtual play. And I know like next year, they're actually going to be on stage and have a live audience. So I was kind of like, I'll just wait it out, because I did have acting classes that I was able to just kind of have that outlet for. But no, I was not able to participate in any play productions this semester.
But next year, your plan is to?
Oh, yes.
You love it, right? Right. And you get access to it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Hey, what's the best part of going to the College of Charleston?
I'm the type of person that'll, I'm going to speak first. I'm very social. And typically whoever I like speak first to, like anyone on campus, they're nice. So like the student body here is like, it's a community, might not be the most diverse community, but everyone on campus is nice. And I do love it. Yeah. The city. That's the best part. I don't know why I didn't think of that. The city, I love being downtown in the heart of the city. But yeah, I just love it. I love Charleston.
Yeah, it's a cool place to be, and it's interesting to have a place to live and to then have your community. I just have a couple more questions, then we're going to wrap it up. You're all amazing. This is so helpful. I know there's so many people who are going to love hearing about your journeys. I want to know the most challenging part you've dealt with it could be in high school, it could be in college, your most uncomfortable experience, whether it could be, dealing with emotional challenges, family issues. I know there's so many different dynamics that so many of you have dealt with and that so many people watching this can relate to. When you kind of reflect on your life and you're like, man, that was the hardest thing. I don't know how I got through it. And it could be academic, but it could also just be life. So I'm talking a little longer than normal to kind of help you to think about it. I'm stalling to help you to work that out, because one of you is going to be first. Anaya, for whatever reason, I want to start with you. What's been your most uncomfortable, challenging experience, and how have you been able to get through it?
Well, I've only had one. So when I was supposed to start college, it was like maybe a week before I was supposed to start, somebody in my family died. So I was like, ugh, I don't even want to continue with school. So, but, my family pushed me to do it. And, I'm working through it. It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, that's very painful. And thank you for sharing that. And I'm really sorry that you had to go through that loss. What helped you to push through? Like, how did you push through if somebody deals with a tragedy, something unexpected right before they go? Like, what was the voice? What was the message? How'd you do it?
Well, I've had a lot of help, a lot of people pushing me in the right direction. Maybe if they can afford it, a therapist is really good.
Did you get some therapy too?
Yes, I go to therapy.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan. I'm glad you brought that up, because not everybody wants to do that. Was that hard for you to get help? You're shy.
At first, I guess.
Yeah, because like the idea of opening yourself up to a stranger when you don't really like to open yourself up, that's really scary. So so can you, and thanks again for offering that. Can you speak to, if you're shy and you're dealing with some really heavy family stuff, like, how can you talk to a therapist? How do you get yourself to open up and offer that and trust the process?
Well, for me, I decided, I want to do this and I want to do this. And if I don't deal with this, it's going to keep coming up and it's going to keep showing up and it's going to hold me back in certain ways that I don't want it to. So I made the decision, open up maybe bit by bit. The therapists understand they don't want you to just be all open just at once, bit by bit. Just take it easy.
And did it help you?
Oh, yes, it's really helping me. Like, who knows if I'd have been here today if I didn't go to therapy.
It's scary. It's super scary. That first day when you went in, were you scared?
Yeah, I was very nervous because I didn't know what to expect.
And you did it face-to-face?
No, we did a Zoom.
We did on Zoom, which could be even harder. Was it just natural? Did you have to start talking a lot? Like, for someone who just wants to kind of understand what that's like, who's like, that's so weird, I don't even know what it would be like. Can you just give us like a tiny bit of a taste of what that's like?
Well, it's kind of like you talk and they listen. Like, you just keep talking. And, I'm listening. You just keep talking. So, and you have to find somebody you really vibe with. Sometimes you can meet somebody who's like, I feel like I've known you for years and y'all just started talking. So just find somebody that your personality fits with.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I'm so happy you're in a good place. And that you're here. Thank you. Thank you again. Emmanuel, what was your most uncomfortable experience and how did you get through that?
Not knowing what I'm doing in my career. I really chose the career because I have a cousin who graduated in Piedmont Tech he like what I'm doing, he did too. And he's the reason why I chose engineering too, because I remember one day I went to his house and I saw him doing homework and it kind of caught my attention, And whenever I struggle, he would help me too. You got to ask for help, help ain't going to come by itself.
So has he helped you?
Yeah, he has helped me a lot.
It sounds like you've got these people, Emmanuel, who just kind of pop up. I mean, they've been there, but they make themselves bigger and keep guiding you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a wonderful thing. And asking for help is hard. Have you gotten better at asking for help?
Yeah, I have.
That's great. Sharissa, so you've had some time. You got lucky. You got some time to think about it. And you could share more than one if there's more. Because I get a feeling you're kind of deciding between two, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this up.
Are you in high school?
But I don't know. I just, sometimes I just kind of, I don't know. I think these conversations are really special. There's like an energy, there's something that happens. There's just like a beautiful thing that goes on. Like, I mean, I hope it comes through with people watching it, but like, like the essence of who you all are, like we're all so connected. I know I look different. Sometimes I forget, like I'm super white, now I'm super red. I don't know. It's not about me, but just like rejection and pain and challenge and adversity. And it's like, I got stuff. I could start crying right now. Like, there's stuff. It's like we all go through stuff, regardless, or all people go through stuff. And I think it's a helpful reminder for anybody who's watching this. So, Teresa, what's something that you dealt with? What was something uncomfortable, and how did you get through it?
When I first went to Piedmont Tech, I had a lot of backlash for that because people who know, like my close friends and family, they knew that I wanted to go to this big school. Like everyone, when you come from a single parent home and first generation, people have big dreams for you. And I did have dreams of going to a big school, but for me personally, I knew that going to a community college was better. And everyone was so disappointed. It's like I just felt like I disappointed everybody. I didn't really receive a lot of support like that, not from like my mom. She always supports me and my siblings, but just for anybody else, it was like, what? You're going here? I'm like, y'all at like community college is such a bad school. And I always tell a lot of kids, don't listen to anybody, always trust your heart and follow your path, because all our paths are different, like you said in the beginning. So that was one obstacle that I had to get over, but I knew what I was doing, what was best for me. Another one is not having like too many friends. Like you had to learn how to deal with yourself and distance yourself from like negative people. I dealt with that like my junior and senior year of high school. And then now, almost a sophomore in college. And then I'm online. I don't really talk to anybody. So I'm just like cooped up with there's my computer, my mom and my siblings. And it's like, but I just learned how to help myself more and just use extra time to do what I love to do, like chase my dreams, like you said as well. So That's the good out of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're so interesting because but you're so intentional, Teresa. Like you're doing, this is your path. You're like, I'm doing this because this is the step before the next step. It wasn't like I'm stopping and giving up on my dreams. It's like this is the step because I feel like I'm not ready for that, or I don't want that because it's what I don't want. But then what was interesting is you're so social. And for you work at Publix, you work at a place where you're around people, like you made sure that you're not isolated and cooped up. And I see you hanging on a lot of the words of like plotting and planning your next move, which is interesting. And I'm grateful you have this support, but the loneliness that we all deal with is very hard. I think, especially coming off this year. And just so you know, like for all of you, like whatever you're doing, if I know of anyone, if there's someone in my LinkedIn, if there's someone in my Facebook, if there's someone in my social media, like we could be friends on social media, and I'll connect you and introduce you or do anything I can to help you all, to support you. And anybody watching, I mean, people never take me up on it. Like I mean it, because I just want you all to be so happy, like so overflowing happy. Like you all deserve to live such an amazing life. Like that's what you were born with. And I'm excited for that. Darius, what's been your most uncomfortable experience, or one of them, and how did you get through that?
Can I say two?
Oh, you can say two, please.
Okay, because there's just one just weighing on my heart. I feel like senior year was going so well until COVID happened. So I had a job that I had from like the summer. So like from the summertime to like March, I worked at Panera Bread. And because of the pandemic, I guess we had got low on business. And so they laid all of us off. It was my first job. The atmosphere was amazing. Like I loved all my coworkers. I feel like that's rare. And it was just such a good experience. And then that was just like taken away from me. And then on top of that, like in the midst of that, we were working on my last senior play. And like in the middle of rehearsal and all, and like we weren't even able to perform that. Like I was so distraught. So that was that. I had to get over that. I feel like that time that was taken away from me, I just used that to kind of like work on scholarships and just focus on school. And then my second one, I would say, is the transition coming to college. I had to kind of find a balance of my social life and my academics. It was just, I feel like it was important for me to remember like why I came to college, because I feel like my mind was everywhere. So like first semester, my academics weren't the best because I was trying to find like how I need to arrange this and get my scheduling together and all that. Because I feel like at times I can be the type of person that be like, if someone says, come on, let's go here. Okay, let's go. When I need to be doing this. So I kind of had to establish that first semester, and I'm doing better now. I had to learn how to reach out and ask for help, which has benefited me for semester 2.
So you were failing some courses or pretty close to struggling big time. I mean, it happens a lot, but probably not to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got that help?
I did. I had to.
Or you wouldn't be here, right? You would just continue.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think people understand how hard that first semester is, that first year is, and the academic, how difficult it is. And then the questions of like, am I worthy of this? You know, like, am I going to be okay? Like, that's such a hard thing that so many people encounter. Did you struggle with that, Darius? Thinking like, am I worthy? Am I going to be okay? Like,
yeah, at times kind of have that self-doubt, but like, I kind of just have to tell myself, Darius, calm down. You got this. Kind of just have to reassure myself.
Well, it's good that you can do it, but when you're in a place where you're not always around the people who love you the most, it's hard. But you had that friend who reminded you of like who Darius is.
Yeah.
I think that idea of like, who are your people? And with each of you shared, you have your people, you have your people and you have your places, and that's how you've been successful and continue to thrive. So we're going to conclude this. I have an opportunity for you to share anything that you want. And then I've got one more. We're going to do a quick, last bit of advice to ourselves. But is there anything else that you wanted to communicate to, someone who is in 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, maybe 10th grade, 11th grade, just something that you just want them to hear that would have helped you? Yeah, Sharissa.
I just want to say, follow your path and always trust your heart. Just because someone doesn't support you doesn't mean it's not right for you. It's your life. You only get one shot at it. So make it the best and do what you want to do.
I think that would probably lead us to the final question, and it might be the same answer. But if you could all go back in time, if Emmanuel, you get to go to Lawrence District 55, you get to be there with Sharissa, and you're walking through the halls of Lawrence High School, right? You're there, and you see like an older version of you. And first of all, you're like, wow, that person looks like me. Then they're like, how'd they get in here? Security's not too good. And then the person walks up to you and they're like, hey, Emmanuel, psst, come here, man, come here. And it's you. It's actually you who gets to talk to freshman you. What would you tell freshman you if you had just a quick hallway meeting? What would you tell you, Emmanuel, that would have helped you?
Honestly, I'll tell myself like, hey, you're going to college, so keep your grades up, I regret it. Like, I wish I would have taken all the engineering classes, all them 4 years that they gave out. Because I feel like if I would have taken all them 4-year engineering classes, I wouldn't have taken like 3D classes that I'm taking now.
You could have taken those in high school?
Yeah, like, I could have taken them in high school. Like, pretty much, like, if your school has your career, for example, our school, like Lawrence, they have building construction, welding, automotive, I forgot, but they also have engineering, which called Project Lead the Way. If I would have seen my freshman year myself, I would have told him, like, hey, take the 4-year classes. This is going to help you a lot.
That would have been good. You're like an advisor. You're like, hey man, I'm your advisor in the future.
Yeah. You're going to struggle. Like, trust me, you're going to struggle.
That's awesome. Thank you. Anaya, if you could go back and see you walking the hallways of Calhoun County High School, seeing shy Anaya, freshman Anaya, what would you tell freshman Anaya?
I would tell her just try to open up and make more connections because, I did miss a lot of opportunities being shy. So
Yeah.
just come out of my shell a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Darius, if you can go back in time and give high school you a little bit of advice, what would you tell freshman you?
I would say, Darius, screw your head on straight and knock out that procrastination, because that is not something you can succeed with. That's not anything you can bring to college. Like, procrastination lifestyle is not the lifestyle you want to live. It's not.
Did you get time management help in college? Like, did you take a course, or did someone fix that for you?
I reached out to my advisor and I got a planner. I got a physical planner, and then I have an electronic planner, like on my phone and everything. So that's really helped me out.
That changed your life.
Yeah.
Right. Because managing time is one of the hardest things. Sharissa.
Yeah.
Please no, finish that, because that time thing, man, I don't want to interrupt you, because that's people mess up.
I was just going to say, I can be forgetful at times. So like things can slip my mind like that. So it's just like,
managing time. Sharissa, if you can go back in time and give you a tip, I know you mentioned something for other people. It could be the same thing. Mm-hmm. But what would you tell freshman you, Sharissa?
I would tell myself to stop being so nice. It's okay to say no, and to not overthink and self-doubt myself. So
it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It turned out more than okay. I know that your Gear Up advisors had recommended you, the counselors, those people. If there's a message to share, and I should have done this earlier, and we'll be super fast because I really want to respect your time. But if there's a message that you can give to those Gear Up people who helped you, using their name, just telling them how they helped you. I don't know if that comes to mind, if there's anything that does come to mind, but I'd love to do that for them, because you mean a lot to them, and I think it would be really helpful for other people to understand. And if you don't have anything, that's okay too. But if you do, that would also be helpful. Emmanuel, does anything come to mind with your Gear Up?
Yeah. I want to say, from my heart to Miss Abel. She really gets on my butt about my classes and stuff. I kind of wish I would have taken advantage of what she would say. She would send emails, but I wouldn't read them. But I kind of wish I did. From all the advices we had, I feel like she inspired me the most. Like, she pushed me forward. I felt that she wanted the best for me.
You agree, Sharissa?
Oh yeah, 100 times. I love Miss Abel as well. She is, if you meet the guidance counselors out of school, you would have to say she's the one who stays on top of you. She truly supports you, like whether you need her, whether it's physically or mentally or just someone to talk to. She is always there. Like, I emailed her today. She's so nice. Like,
you're still emailing her?
Yeah, yes, I still call her and stuff.
Right. She's turned into like a friend, like a true friend. Like, I honestly feel like when I graduate college, I'm still gonna talk to Miss Abel. that's how much I love her. But she is a tremendous and wonderful woman. Like, I'm so happy they gave her to us, to our school.
Yeah, because she's been with us since I think when it started, which is 7th grade, I think.
Yeah, it was 7th grade.
Yeah. Like until today, if I tell her I'm failing a class, I'm kind of scared. Because I know how she is. Like she gets on my butt about it.
So are you failing a class right now?
No, I was.
I want to clear this up because she's going to see this.
Yeah, I know.
No, you're going to get...
I already told her.
She's going to see this. You're going to get a call, an email, a text.
I feel like student needs people like her. Someone that pushes you, that knows what's best for you.
Is there a time that... What's her name again?
Miss Abel.
Miss Abel?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a time Miss Abel kind of kicked your butt and straightened you out where you really needed it? And you're like, oh man, that was really helpful.
Yeah.
Can you think of that? Like, could you explain that? I know it'd be helpful to know, like, if you have it. If not, that's okay. I just you shared enough. It's great. I mean, I think it's the reason I was asking is because sometimes saying how amazing someone is one thing, but then just knowing the lengths that somebody goes to show they care. Like, I think that's something that other people really can appreciate. Like, something she did that made you realize, whoa, she's not faking it. Is there something that comes to mind just because as a tribute to her and anyone else who does this work?
Yeah, we're not saying the other ones we had, they were bad. It is that we know her since 7th grade. that's the only person that we felt that we had a bond with, because she been with the longest since 7th grade.
Right. She's your gear up counselor or advisor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's with you from 7th all the way for you
Yeah.
at 7th to the rest of your life.
She would
Right.
say that.
That's a wonderful thing. Anaya, do you have anything that you wanted to share to someone in Gear Up who helped you?
Oh, yes, I would like to thank Miss Cooper. I just want to thank her for taking us on all those trips, giving us tours of all those colleges, because it really helped.
Are you still in contact with Miss
No,
Cooper?
I'm not still in contact.
Okay, well, it's Miss Cooper, right? Is that who you said?
Yes, Miss
All right.
Cooper.
She's gonna hear this. All right. Thank you for that. Darius, do you have anything you wanted to share?
I love you, Miss Moody. At first, I thought you were the meanest woman in the high school, but come to find out, she was just a real down-to-earth, genuine counselor. Like, she's about her stuff. And I'm so glad to have met her and spend all the time that I've had with her. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that she was able to provide through Gear Up. All those trips, it was so many college trips. It was so many. And at times I feel like I took them for granted, and I'm sorry for that. But now I realize you're the one, Miss Moody. I love you.
How'd she go from being so intimidating to being the one?
Honestly, I don't know. Freshman year to senior year, it was just uphill.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful. It's so nice you can share that. It's a gift for them to know. There's so many people who want to support you and help you. And it's not just you, it's anybody who's watching this. Those of you who are like, wow, like I want to be like them, So Emmanuel, I know you're talking about all the people who have been there for you, but the joy of this interview, or I don't even want to call it an interview, the joy of this conversation is now you're that person to all these other people. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah, well, all I gotta say, I would be the teacher's pet, I guess you can say. Well, I try to be the teacher's pet, but not to be the teacher's pet at the same time.
It's okay to have a
okay.
relationship with your teacher.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At least try to build a relationship with your teacher.
That's great advice. Well, you're also wonderful. And I'm so grateful we had the chance to be here tonight. If there's anything else you want to clear up, or I don't think we need to clear up anything else, because I always like to give everyone a chance. They're like, oh, that thing I said, I think we're good, right? We're all good, right?
Yeah, we're good.
This is fun. Thanks for being so generous. Thanks for visiting with me. Thanks for opening up your lives. And I know that you're all available. Anybody who's watching this, who's listening, who wants to reach out to Emmanuel or Anaya or Darius or Sharisa, do that, because they're all going to really cool places. They're going to be living amazing lives, and they want to help you and support you. And they really want to encourage you. And I as well want to help and support you and be in your corner. I'm Harlan Cohen. I am your host. I'm so grateful that you can all be here. Thank you for participating, panelists. Thank you all for watching. I'm Harlan Cohen. This has been Before College TV, another college conversation. Thanks, everybody.